everyone, it's Tanya Evans from WorkPro, and I am the host of today's webinar talking about and showing you WorkPro and our FastTrack integration. There are lots of people on this call today, which is fantastic. So hopefully you can all hear me. Please let me know if you can't by just making a note inside chat. I can see that on my screen. The questions are always welcomed as well. What we might do though is just spend the 10 minutes or so me showing you the WorkPro capability and functionality within FastTrack. If you have any questions, please pop them into chat and I can try and cover them off at the end of this 10 minutes. This session is being recorded, so for those that can't attend, you might want to pop this through to some of your colleagues and your networks. That will be available just after the webinar through the portal, through the WorkPro portal. Once you're logged in, up on the little hamburger menu, drop that down and you'll see there are video walkthroughs. Thanks so much for spending 10 minutes or so today with me. I'm going to very quickly log into the FastTrack environment and show you exactly how our WorkPro works currently. I'm also going to talk a little bit about what's not possible in this version, just so you know what is and is not possible, and then conclude with showing you or talking through our next version of the FastTrack integration. So you guys are, users of FastTrack, so you'll be well more familiar than what I am. But clicking on Recruitment Manager, Candidate, and the first thing we're going to do is search for a candidate. Oops, sorry about that. So clicking Search, and you'll see here I've got some prepared. This is one of the candidates. I'm just going to choose Sam Brodie as the person. I want to check whether Sam's done WorkPro, and if he hasn't done WorkPro, I need to send him a request to complete WorkPro. So up pops his profile, and over on the right hand side I click WorkPro. Now in this instance, Sam Brodie has completed WorkPro and his profile is already connected as a candidate within the FastTrack environment. I'm just going to undo Sam Brodie. So what may, your view, what you may see when you're looking for a candidate is you might just see welcome to WorkPro and inviting you to search for the candidate that you're looking for to determine whether they have or have not completed WorkPro. So if I now, and there's a few ways that I can do this. I can enter a name. I can enter, in this case, Sam Brodie's email address, or if Sam has provided you with the SIN, so you know Sam has completed WorkPro previously, you can enter his SIN and also his surname and click Search. And you'll see here, there's my candidate. And confirming, yes, that's the candidate I'm looking for. You can see up here, Sam Brodie's email address would be here and his mobile number. So you could cross-reference whether this is indeed the Sam Brodie you're looking for. If you're searching for an email address, which I would suggest that you do in the first instance, that means that there is a unique user in WorkPro. It's unlikely there's going to be someone else that has that same email address. It's going to be unique to Sam Brodie. So once you've connected your candidate, you can now see a summary screen and then across all the tabs that you know about WorkPro. So we've popped this little summary screen here to make it easy for you to do a first glance over what are the elements of WorkPro that you need this person to have completed. And you could see the background checks, you can see any modules that Sam's completed, you can see any licenses that have been added as part of Sam's workforce compliance profile. If there's anything that is missing that you need Sam to complete, you'll simply click New Request, just as you would inside WorkPro, and up will pop the little window, and you're either selecting from the package or you're choosing a task that you need Sam to complete, and then you're simply sending the request. That acts exactly the same as you would expect in WorkPro. So Sam will have received an email. That email will contain a live link and a single-use token and the instructions on what needs to be completed. Once Sam has completed those tasks or a task, that information will be displayed within this window, and you'll still receive your email alert once Sam has completed it. You'll then come back into this window. You'll do a search for Sam as we just did previously, and you'll click on whatever the task is that you need him to do. And let's just say it's a police check. You can see here, please review. And just as you are doing with inside WorkPro, you're reviewing this information, you're accepting the identity documents that have been loaded, and you're submitting that police check for processing. So this environment of FastTrack, if you think about, let me just close that window. If you think about WorkPro, you can essentially think about this is the window that is WorkPro and all of its capability, and anything outside of that is FastTrack. So now it kind of brings me to the points where this version kind of starts and stops, and what we're planning for the next version of WorkPro. So I just want to talk for a couple of minutes just about the things that you can't do within this FastTrack version. You can't create packages, so you'll need to use WorkPro to create your packages, and then of course you can send your package from the FastTrack window, which I just showed you. Number two is some of you maybe have taken advantage of sending bulk requests to a range of candidates. Clearly, because I'm sitting in a single candidate window, you can't send a bulk request to more than one candidate. So you'll need to go into WorkPro if you're taking advantage of sending bulk requests. And when we're speaking of bulk, some of you may have also taken advantage of being able to do things like a bulk induction verification for a whole bunch of candidates at once. Or you may have taken advantage of doing a bulk Vivo check. You clearly, for the same reasons I've just talked about, you can't do that in FastTrack because you're now sitting in a single candidate record. So it kind of rounds out what the current capability is for version 1 of FastTrack. Now I just want to finish off by talking about V2. And I've just come up to the top of this window. The next round of development, which will commence around the end of June, we're hoping earlier, but perhaps the end of June, will be that any information, actually, let me talk about first about requesting. So rather than sitting in a candidate record, you'll be utilising, we'll go back to this dashboard, you'll be utilising, and I'm going to hope I haven't get this wording wrong, credentials and what is the word for it? Skills and custom fields. So we will sit with you and we will define custom fields with you that suit your business, and we'll also be defining skills. So whichever suits your purposes, skills or custom fields, once you have those in play, you'll be able to drop down a menu and you'll be able to send a WorkPro request to one or multiple candidates. So you'll be able to do that straight from the FastTrack dashboard. Once that's occurred, not only will, and I'll use Sam Brody in this first instance, not only once Sam Brody has completed his task, will that still be stored within WorkPro and that WorkPro window that I just showed you, it will also be stored dynamically within the FastTrack environment. So talking about custom fields and skills, that means that you will be able to filter, you'll be able to search, and you'll be able to find certain WorkPro credentials. So if I'm talking about you have a stores worker, so you need to find 10 stores workers to place for a part of a project or a client request, you'll be able to log into FastTrack and amongst other credentials, I'm sure, but you'll be able to say, show me anyone that has completed the stores worker, work health and safety module, has the rights to work in Australia and has a current police check. So be able to be searching in FastTrack rather than through a candidate record within WorkPro. So I hope that makes sense. It's all kind of starting to make sense to us as we start building out these statements of work in collaboration with FastTrack. Like I said, version 2 is kind of looking like it's due for deployment. The project will commence about the end of June. We're hoping it's, depending if there's no technical hurdles, we're hoping that we'll be able to deploy that to the market about the end of July, perhaps mid-August, so please be patient. That concludes today's webinar. Let me have a quick look to see if there's any questions. There's not, which is great. If you do have any questions about the current version and you haven't already integrated WorkPro within your FastTrack environment, or you're a FastTrack customer that is looking to integrate and use WorkPro within FastTrack, please give us a call for any questions that you might have that relate to version 2. More than happy to take your call. You can call me directly. Might give you my personal mobile here. Perhaps if you call 1300 975 776, or you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at tevans@workpro.com.au, and I'll do my very best to answer any questions that you might have. Thanks so much for attending today, and I will talk to you soon.